Protests in Hong Kong, dubbed the island's last fight against mainland China, for days now, and things are heating up there where it is early Wednesday. There are chaotic scenes reportedly erupting as thousands of demonstrators surround government offices. They're protesting against a proposed extradition bill that would allow people to be sent to China for trial. We've got FBN's Connell McShane near the standoff. It's been a little tough with the live view, but he's joining us now. Connell, what can you tell us?
Well, you know, it's interesting, Shannon. The live police officers in riot gear that are standing behind me are ready to move in. But so far, these protests, the second, to your point, large-scale protests that we've seen in this city this week, have been peaceful. 9 additional vans of police officers, we were counting them just before going on the air with you, just arrived. But again, so far, they have not had to move in. What's happened here in Hong Kong today is that many of the local businesses have either been encouraged to close or have had to close because their workers just haven't shown up for work. There's something of a strike going on in the city, so people can come out and make their voices known against this controversial and largely unpopular extradition bill, which indeed would allow people, if they're charged with a crime here in Hong Kong, potentially to be sent back to mainland China, where the laws are very different. But what stood out to us since we've arrived here and spoken with many of these protesters is how many of them are young people.
We are here to save our future today, and we are hoping to save our Hong Kong. We don't have freedom in China, but Hong Kong is not like China, so we are making the big difference today.
You can see some live pictures now just blocks from where we're standing of the protesters gathering just outside of the Legislative Council, Shannon, where the debate about this bill is underway at this hour. Now, here's what we're hearing from inside that debate. Even with all the opposition from the United States government, from the people here in Hong Kong, this extradition bill is largely expected to pass. In fact, it's been fast-tracked. A bill like this might take weeks or maybe months on a normal day or normal set of debates to get passed. They expect this bill to pass as soon as next week. So we'll continue to follow it. As you heard from those protesters we spoke to, many of them are very concerned that this business-friendly city of Hong Kong may be changed and not for the better. Back to you in New York, or in Washington, I should say.
Yeah, and Connell, let me ask you, can you tell us a little bit more about the origins of how this whole thing got sparked and where we ended up with these enormous crowds taking to the streets now multiple days in a row?
Well, there was a young man who was charged with a crime, actually charged with strangling his girlfriend on a trip to Taiwan. That young man traveled back here to Hong Kong and has not been able to be extradited back to Taiwan. That's kind of what started it. Then the chief executive, highest-ranking political official here in Hong Kong, Carrie Lam, pushed it forward to include the possible extradition to China, and that's when the protesters took to the streets. But again, so far they've been unsuccessful. Beijing is holding strong.
Okay, Connell McShane live there on what is Wednesday morning in Hong Kong. Thank you so much.